The final week of Champions League round of 16 fixtures is here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions on which out of the final 8 teams will advance to the next round and which teams will get eliminated. In today's video I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for the second leg fixtures in the second game week of the round of 16 and telling you guys which teams I think will advance to the quarterfinals and which teams will get eliminated. Again, this is all my personal opinion, so if you guys disagree with some of the predictions that I have made in this video, remember to leave a comment down below. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. Starting off with the first game, and in my opinion, this is probably the most anticipated game this week, and it is Barcelona against Napoli. Obviously, I am a Napoli fan, and for that reason, I do hope that Napoli can win this game. But if we see anything similar to what we've been seeing in recent years, history shows us that Barcelona will most likely win this game. In the last 10 years, we have seen Napoli come up against Barcelona in a total of 7 separate occasions. And in these 7 occasions, Barcelona have played 4 games at home and they have never lost. We've seen Barcelona beat Napoli 4-0, 3-1, 4-2. So like I said, if history has anything to say in this game, it does tell us that Barcelona are definitely the favorites. But if we look back into the first leg game, which was played 2 weeks ago, this was a very scrappy game, and I feel like both teams didn't perform very well. Both teams were struggling with possession throughout the whole game. They both didn't have a lot of great quality shots. But since this game, we've seen Napoli play multiple games in the Serie A where they've beat the likes of Sassuolo 6-1, and they even beat second place in the Serie A Juventus 2-1. So I think since that game, Napoli have really improved their form. Barcelona, on the other hand, have obviously gotten a few good results since that Napoli game, like beating Getafe 4-0 and also recently beating Mallorca 1-0. But they also drew against Atletico. So Barcelona, yes, maybe they're not as bad defensively as they were about a month or 2 ago, but they are still playing very inconsistently, and I don't think this will be an easy game for them. Realistically, I think it will be very difficult for both teams. I do think it will be a pretty high scoring game, if I'm being honest. And obviously, since I am a Napoli fan, I am going to back Napoli. But realistically, I think it will be very tough for them. I do think Barcelona are the favorites. But for the sake of me being a Napoli fan and for these predictions, I am going to predict that Napoli win this game 2-1. Moving on to the next game on Tuesday, and this is going to be another very entertaining fixture. We have Arsenal against FC Porto. Obviously, if we go back to the first leg game, Arsenal were definitely the favorites in that matchup. And in the game, they did dominate in terms of possession, but in terms of attacking Porto, they really didn't do much for the whole game. They didn't have a lot of shots, and the shots they did have were not high quality shots. When Porto, on the other hand, yes, maybe they didn't have as much possession as Arsenal, but in the attack, they were ruthless and they had a few really good chances which could have made them go 2 or even 3-0 up. Obviously, in the end, Porto did get the result that they deserved as they scored that late winner by Galeno, which, by the way, was a fantastic goal. But in this game, Arsenal are playing at home. I do think they definitely have the advantage. Obviously, it will be tough for them, and in recent years, we've seen how Arsenal struggles in UEFA competitions, especially against Portuguese sides. And obviously, Porto are not going to just let Arsenal play the way they want to play. Porto are going to be aggressive. They're going to defend very well, as they probably want to defend their 1-0 lead. But I do think Arsenal, especially with how good their recent form has been, that they will win this game. We have seen them score loads and loads of goals in recent games, as in their recent 8 Premier League games, they have scored 33 goals while only conceding 4. Obviously, this does change a lot in the Champions League, as the atmosphere and history does matter a lot in this competition. But I do think Arsenal will get the job done in this game. Obviously, it will be very tough because I don't think Porto will just allow Arsenal to attack them the whole game. They will defend very well. They will try to counter-attack Arsenal, find them on the counter, maybe score a goal. But I do think Arsenal will score multiple goals in this game. I think the scoreline will be 2-0 for Arsenal, and I do think they will advance into the quarterfinals. Moving on to the Wednesday fixtures, the first game we got is Atletico Madrid against Inter Milan. If we look back into the first game, Inter Milan were clearly the dominant team. If you watch that game, they had loads of shots and they had some amazing opportunities. And realistically, they could have probably won that game 3-0 if Atletico Madrid didn't get lucky. I'm not saying Atletico Madrid are a bad team, but in that first leg fixture, Inter Milan were clearly the better team with 19 shots, over 2.3 xG. They definitely should have scored more goals. But that is the craziness that comes along with the Champions League, because just because a team dominates the game, they may not get the result that they deserve. And in this game, Atletico Madrid could possibly upset Inter Milan. Now, I'm using the word upset because even though Atletico Madrid are playing at home and they have that advantage, Inter Milan are clearly the favorites in this game. They are one of the best teams in the world, and in recent weeks in the Serie A, they have been playing absolutely phenomenally. Obviously, it will be a very tough game because playing in Madrid, and we all know what Atletico Madrid are like. They are a more rough team. They play very aggressive. And I do think this will be very tough for Inter Milan. I do think both teams will definitely score in this game, but I do think Inter Milan will end up winning this match. Obviously, Atletico Madrid will be very attacking this game, which we usually don't see under Diego Simeone, but obviously they are down 1-0 on aggregate, so they have to play more attacking. And because of this, I do think Inter Milan will be able to counter-attack Atletico Madrid. I think they will probably score 2 goals, Atletico Madrid maybe 1 goal, and for that reason, for this prediction, I'm going to predict that Inter Milan win this game 2-1. And finally, the last match in the round of 16 second leg fixtures is Borussia Dortmund against PSV Eindhoven. If we look back to the first game when PSV were playing at home, it was a very close game, but I do think that PSV were the better side. They had more possession, more expected goals, they had more shots, and in general, they looked like they were just playing a little bit more fluid football than what Dortmund were playing. But obviously, in this game, it is being played at Signal Iduna Park, which is a massive stadium. The Dortmund fans are absolutely crazy, and I think this atmosphere will be very overwhelming for PSV Eindhoven. Dortmund do currently sit 4th place in the Bundesliga, and yes, they are having a pretty good season, but in certain games they are a little bit inconsistent, where we can see them beat some top teams, but they can also lose against some very low rated teams in the Bundesliga. So that inconsistency isn't good for Borussia Dortmund. But in recent weeks, they have picked up that consistency. They've gotten a few good results in their recent Bundesliga games. And against PSV, playing at home, I do think they are definitely the favorites. PSV, on the other hand, are having a fantastic season in the Eredivisie, as they still have 0 losses in their first 25 games with 22 wins and 3 draws. Now, obviously, in the UEFA competitions, they have lost a few games. But it is fair to say that PSV are one of the most informed teams in the world. And for that reason, it will make it very tough for Dortmund to win this game. I think this will be a very close game. I'm going to predict a high scoring result, but I think it will be separated by only 1 goal. Dortmund will win, and I think the scoreline will be 3-2. And that is the end of this video. Those are my predictions for the second leg fixtures of the second week games in the Champions League round of 16. The 4 teams that I think will advance to the quarterfinals will be Napoli and Arsenal, and Inter Milan and Borussia Dortmund. Those are the 4 teams that I think will advance into the quarterfinals. Obviously, if you guys disagree with any of my predictions, remember to leave a comment down below telling me why you disagree and which teams you think will advance to the next round and which teams will get eliminated. And obviously, if you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.